What's going on, Cowboys Nation? Welcome back to another episode of StarChasers, Girls Talk Ball Offseason Edition. As you know, it's your girl, Cravin Cowboys. And as always, I got my sister, Stargazer in the building. What's going on, girl? How you doing?
What's up, everybody? Glad to be back for another episode of StarChasers, Girls Talk Ball. What's up to everybody in the chat? JVB Boy, Jameson, J Money, Kelvin. I think that's it for right now, but thank you guys for rocking with us. I know y'all was waiting in chat. We were trying to get some. We saw y'all's comments while y'all was in the chat. We were trying to get things to go logistically, because we got some content and stuff that we actually want to be able to show y'all. You know, try to get our show to be a little bit more interactive than y'all just watching us talk. You know, I know y'all want to see our beautiful faces, but I also think it would be good to like bring context and stuff to what we're saying. So anyway, glad to be here and to talk about, you know, I think we missed last week, so it's about 2 weeks of new stuff that we haven't even gotten to really talk about. So we're going to get into some things today.
Yeah, like my girl said, yeah, thank you guys for joining us on this Wednesday evening. Before we get too deep into it, make sure you guys hit the like button, hit the share button, hit subscribe button, please. We emphasize that. Hit subscribe, please. We're both trying to grow our channels. As you know, training camp right around the corner. The season right around the corner, y'all. Like, look, y'all, it's almost July, y'all. Summer's flying by. I hope you guys are out enjoying the summertime. It's hot. It's hot. Make sure you guys do your job.
Very hot.
But, yes, but hey, it's flying by, y'all. So, you know, football is really going to be here in no time, as you guys know. You know, training camp, you know, as much as we love it, it goes by fast, right? And not just for the players as well. So we got to soak it up. You know, right now in this time here, y'all, make sure you guys soak it up. Don't just take it as the lazy period. Don't, think it is, I have to pay too much attention on it to, do this, do that. Like, make sure you guys soak it up, because just like the football season, it goes by fast. So, make sure you guys just, stay aware of the news going on, and, we're going to be here trying to give it to you guys. So, like I said, make sure you guys hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the retweet if you listen on X. Switch over to the YouTube side, hit the like button, subscribe to us, please. Hit the Cash App as well. You guys see us below our name, just below. So, like I said, we're just trying to grow our channels, give you guys fire content, like my girl said, and we're going to get started. Like she said, just the last couple of weeks, we were off the last week, but, it's been, of course, the Cowboys, once again, as you guys saw in the thumbnail, dipping their, toes, feet, hands, legs, really everything. Into the UFL, Spring League, of course, XFL / USFL that both joined to the UFL. So, a lot of these guys we're talking about tonight, they, worked out 4 more guys, some more guys at defensive end. One halfback, halfback, fullback / running back that they took a look at. So and that's interesting. I mean, unfortunately, it's not the draft. It's not free agency. For the NFL, like we wanted, but it's. Like I mentioned a couple weeks ago, it's movement. You like to see the Cowboys at least, going out here trekking. As we always hear, leaving no stone unturned. I'm saying, go out here looking for these guys who can potentially, impact our team going into 2024. With everything going on, with the 1-year deals going on, with the contract, whatever going on, like
You're right.
we're still trying to get to some football, and they're actually taking a look at guys who can hopefully, impact our team. Just kind of get into it a little, just to kind of get into it a little bit. We know they took a look at 3 defensive ends, and like I mentioned, 1 halfback, 1 fullback. I believe the fullback's name was Joe or John Levitt. To be honest, I haven't had a chance to take a full deep dive into these guys that they worked out. It was just the other day, but
John Levitt. Yeah, if you could can you pull up the list?
Yeah, let me actually pull it up right quick.
I think Nick Harris posted it, but yeah, guys, and also, after you post that, or if you got the list of the DE, so we can show them, and then also the graphic I sent with showing that it's now becoming a trend in the NFL, thanks to us, because nobody was looking. The past 2 years, we pretty much have been the only team that was looking at the UFL for talent, but now we have a list showing y'all that other NFL teams are following what we're doing. So, y'all can see on the thumbnail that I said UFL equals Dallas Cowboys free agency. And so, I'm bringing up the point to say that other people in the NFL are following us. And just because you're in the UFL doesn't mean that you're not talented. I have pushback for people who say that because a lot of these guys in the UFL they were drafted, right? They were draft picks. The Garyon Conley, the cornerback that we signed, he's a former first-round draft pick. Willie Harvey Jr., the linebacker that we signed, I'm not sure which pick in the draft he was, but he was drafted. And these are guys that just kind of where they're for. I know Garyon Conley, injury is what got him out of the NFL. He couldn't stay on the field. And so when you can't stay on the field, the team replaces you. Doesn't mean you don't have talent. Obviously, he was a first-round pick. And his connection to us is actually through Paul Guenther, because Paul Guenther is the one who drafted him to the Raiders. Because if y'all didn't know, Paul Guenther used to be the defensive coordinator for the Raiders. Right. And then you got Willie Harvey Jr., who led the UFL. I think, did I send you that graphic, sis?
Yeah, let me bring it. I wasn't sure if you want to discuss the new signs. Let me actually bring it up right quick.
Oh, let's stay on topic. Sorry, you got it up here, so let's discuss.
No, you good. No, you good.
These are the new signings. I mean, not new signings. Sorry, these are guys that we worked out. So DE, Jonathan Garvin, Wyatt Ray, Derek Roberson, John Lovett. Now, as Mickey said, we have not reviewed these guys. I haven't reviewed film, so I don't know what these guys look like and what they necessarily bring to the table. Have seen some film on Garyon Conley. Have seen some film on Willie Harvey Jr. Actually, if you guys check out DallasCowboys.com, Nick Harris actually just did a video where he does some in-depth film analysis to show what these new signings bring to us. I'm sure they'll be doing the same if we do end up signing someone else. And shout out to Law Nation, because he did a film review on John Lovett, which is a running back that we worked out. So you guys can definitely go over to Law Nation, go to DallasCowboys.com YouTube to check out the film on Willie Harvey Jr. and Garyon Conley. But anyway, I know people say that, hey, it's the UFL, those are bums, those are scrubs, yada, yada, yada. And we can't really say that we're better or we can't really hang our hat on the UFL signings, right? Because, those are just special teamers, Brandon Aubrey, he's all pro, but that's just a special team position. And Cavante Turpin, he was all pro, but that's just a special team position. But what I'll say about that is special teams is a part of the football team. Special teams puts points on the board, just like offense can put points on the board, just like defense can put points on the board. And we so
that's true. I mean, our season started out last year off of special teams play. Do you guys not remember?
Literally. Exactly. First touchdown of the season was a special teams play. So let's not sit here and try to, denigrate who we are or what we brought into the NFL as far as a talent. Talent is talent. It don't matter where you play.
We also have John Faso, who's really become known as a pioneer in the league as far as special teams. I mean, he's actually our media just did a special story on John Faso because of what he means, not just to Cowboys, but actually to the league. And he's actually had a vital role in actually changing the kickoff rule in this past season. So
right.
Like Sis said, do not sleep on these special teams, you guys.
Yeah, and JV said, why do you pick UFL over improving NFL vets? I can tell you, one, the reason why we pick UFL over, well, first of all, these guys are NFL vets. Willie Harvey Jr. is an NFL vet.
Right.
Garyon Conley is an NFL vet. This is what we do here in the Dallas Cowboys. And I don't have a problem with how we team build. If you have a problem with how we team build, that's okay. People have differences of opinion. But what we like to do is we like to go out and find pretty much, now this is the new way we like to do. We try to find not super young, obviously, but like players that are still in their 20s, right? That were former first round picks, second, third, fourth round picks, that they're looking for a shot to get back in NFL, or they're looking for a shot to establish themselves as good players in the NFL, right? Because as I said, there's various things that get you out of the NFL. It doesn't mean that you don't have talent, right? You could have injury, could face illness, life problems. There's so many things that could get you out of the NFL other than, you just sucked and nobody wanted you. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna.
Also, it could be that. It could be guys who didn't get that chance, and really for the spring, it's good for these guys that have the spring league because it's different when you're just not off to yourself, but when you're at your own facility training, or when you're just training little guys on in the backyard. You actually have the physicality. You have the speed of the game. You have just different factors that you wouldn't just have training on your own. You're around other like you mentioned, you're around other NFL vets, other coaches, other staff,
former NFL coaches.
Exactly. So
these like these are not high school players, or these are former collegiate or former NFL players, right? They've been out of the league for maybe a couple of years for, like I said, various reasons. We're gonna show you guys some clips from shout out to 105.3 The Fan, Shan and RJ, who did an interview actually of Willie Harvey Jr. and he actually says in the interview, why was he out of the league for a couple of years? What happened? And so I think it'll be good to go over that so that we can listen and understand that, hey, sometimes you just may not be ready for the NFL. The NFL is a lot. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's a lot. But let's not act like players can't come back and make an impact on teams, or that you can't get players from the UFL and make an impact. Obviously, you see all these teams copying us. Why? Because all pros. So I'm not saying that Willie Harvey Jr. is going to be an all pro, or that Garyon Conley is going to be an all pro. I do know that but what I do know is that they both have talent. And they both can contribute to special teams, if anything, and help us out. Because Willie Harvey, I think did we have his stats before we go into the interview? Because I want to start off with that, and then we can go into sort of what we feel like the Dallas Cowboys is doing about this situation. Yeah. Okay, I guess I didn't even have the graphic, but basically Willie Harvey Jr. Led the UFL in tackles for loss. He had like 9 tackles for loss and led the UFL in tackles as well. I forget how much it was, but 9 to 10 tackles for loss is nothing to sneeze at. You know what I'm saying? As Law Nation says, it's definitely not nothing to sneeze at. It's definitely not nothing to say, anybody can do that. Because again, they are playing former NFL players. They are playing players who are trying to get into the NFL. So these are guys who have talent. You know what I'm saying? And I always say, like, obviously these teams are evaluating these players and they feel like these players can add something to their teams. So we shouldn't be taking a crap on signing UFL players because it's worked out for us, right? It's worked out for us. Whether it's special teams players or not, these players made an impact on our team and helped us win. So that's all I want. Players that help us win.
Yeah, I definitely feel you, sis, and not just UFL, not just players coming from UFL, but we see what the Cowboys can do with UDFAs as well. We see a Hunter Lipke.
Hunter Lipke, Terrence Steele,
you know what I'm saying?
Wanye Thomas, Marquise Bell, TJ Bass. Like, let's not. There's a lot of things that we can be mad at the front office for, but I'm never going to be mad at them for finding cheap, affordable, good talent. I'm not going to be mad at them for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know people, let's go out, let's spend big. I don't want to do that. I think in free agency, you should add a couple of players, make 1 to 2 players, and then that's about it. All these people who think they can buy rosters, I mean, it may work out for that year. I mean, Philly tried to do it in 2022. They tried to buy a roster. I mean, they got to the Super Bowl, but they didn't win. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Josh Ball was a draft pick. That ain't no UDFA.
Okay, and we can go over draft picks that didn't work out over UDFAs that did.
Right, like exactly, like because we've missed on some draft picks.
Right, we talk about 2023 draft picks, y'all, that we question it, and I know it's only a year later, but they haven't had a chance to grow yet. I understand. I'm not saying that's not my opinion. That's not end of 20. That's not my opinion at all. I'm just saying we have a new class coming in that we're looking at the 2023 guys like, hey, you got something to prove, and it's like. Hey, we can just find some like you said, we can just find some of these treasures. I mean, maybe just some of these gems amongst some of these guys coming in. Because hey, guys, we simply the Cowboys simply have roster spots to fill. We're just looking for guys that can come in. Exactly. Create more competition in training camp. That's what we're looking at.
That's it. Exactly. Remember, I said the word of the year is competition. So we're bringing in as many guys as possible that can bring competition.
Right.
That's all we're doing. And we're gonna let them compete, and whoever is standing at the end is who's standing and who will be starting. But we need as much bodies as possible. And these are good quality bodies that we feel like can push these other guys. Now, do you hope that your draft picks beat them? Of course you do. But if they don't, and these guys show up and show out and actually help us, like I said, whether it's on defense, offense, or special teams,
right?
That's all we care about.
I mean, cut you off, but Harvey mentioned that too on special teams, just the importance of linebackers, and with the rule change, like we mentioned before, we're going to need those bigger bodies. We're going to need those more stout bodies to be able to take those hits and possibly be able to get better field advantage. I mean, we heard Turpin. He wants to come out. He wants to have a Pro Bowl type year, so he's going to be trying to turn on those Jets.
Right, he's trying to turn it up. Right, and considering that John Fossil was one of the guys who put this new rule into place, right. Like he's got his guys in mind. Right, that's why they're trying Turpin and Deuce Vaughn and even Wanye Thomas. If y'all didn't know, Wanye Thomas can return punts and kicks. So,
right. Yeah, and I think is it Billy Johnson or was it Cropper that was getting? I think there was another receiver that was taking. And not saying he'll be the one starting taking the reps at punt return, the kick return. But I think they were trying out another receiver as far as taking.
Probably. I don't remember. I just remember that it was Wanye and Deuce that was behind Turpin. I don't know who else, but they very well could have tried one of those other wide receivers out. You said
two returners out there.
Overshown. So I don't want Overshown, Stevens Jr. and Diggs on the field until week 9. Yeah, I think that I do think that we are going to try to slow work these guys. Shout out to Boss Cowboy and Law and Brian Broaddus, who did a show yesterday for the Final Word. Right. And, Brian Broaddus, y'all can go over there and watch the whole stream, but he did say that, Diggs he's slowly working back, and I'm glad. I think the Cowboys have learned their lesson that, like, hey, let's not force players out there if they're not ready. Yeah. Because obviously losing Diggs put a huge hole in our defense, and you would hate to lose Diggs again because you rushed him.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it not only puts a damper on the team, but also the player as well. I mean, we hear these players, and I'm not saying it started with Gallup, but I would say not even Gallup, but Jordan Lewis, the vulnerability of these players coming out and saying about how much not only it takes on their body physically, but the toll it takes on their mind mentally. So
right.
We don't want these guys to, we heard Damone Clark mention about, Demo coming back from his injury. So these guys, whether they want to or not, they're going to be thinking about this injury. So like you said, and we heard Mike McCarthy mention in his press conferences of Lou DeWells. I'm saying, I don't know if we heard from Rick Brown, but they said that they've been working with him constantly and just hit them, like you said, just them respecting the timelines of the injury, not trying to rush these guys, and also at the same time bringing in the guys as far as depth, not trying to bring in stars, not trying to bring in guys to replace these guys, but just bringing in depth and also shoring up the depth that we already have by just stiffening the competition.
Right, exactly. So, as far as Stevens Jr. and Diggs and Overshown, we have so many linebackers, guys. Like, we've loaded the roster with linebackers.
Yeah.
So I'm not really too concerned. We got, if I count the number of linebackers that we have, you have Eric Kendricks, Maris Leofau, Damone Clark, Damian Wilson, DeMarvion Overshown. Now we have Willie Harvey Jr. and then one is Brock Morganson or something like that, and then the other guy is
Jason Johnson and Buddy Johnson.
Jason Johnson, Buddy Johnson, and then there's like a Brian. Oh yeah, so we got about 9.
Yeah, at least. Yeah.
We have about 9 linebackers, so I think we're good. If Overshown can't start, we're fine. We've got plenty of linebackers. One of them will. One of the 9, because we only need one more, because you got Eric Kendricks and you got Leofau, right? Mm-hmm. Who Leofau is, everybody is saying, the coaches and stuff, that he's catching on so fast, it's crazy. Yeah. So, and then you have Damone Clark, who's a veteran, who we hope that with Eric Kendricks' leadership, and if y'all watch my video on my channel, Damone said that he's more comfortable now, right? He's more comfortable because he is being led by Eric Kendricks, because he is being led by Paul Gunther, who is the key to our linebackers, because obviously Scott McCurley, the real linebacker coach, y'all saw my video. If you haven't seen my video, go to my Instagram, TikTok. I put the clip out. Like, he didn't know what he was doing. Therefore, the players didn't know what they were doing. But now we got Paul Gunther, who has really been working with the linebackers and working with the coach. So, and I wouldn't be. Go ahead.
No, I'm gonna say, and also to add to your point, like just to kind of segue into the clips, like you mentioned with Kendricks being here, under the leadership of Zimmer, like once we get to the clips, you'll hear Harvey mention, him talking about Zimmer's defense. So not only we talk about this, as we talk about having veteran leadership in the linebacker room. So not only now do we have Kendricks, but also adding another veteran type like Harvey, who I don't think he did, but not playing directly under Zimmer, but being familiar with the defense that Zimmer wants to bring to this team. We now have another veteran presence, along with the Damian Wilson as well, but another veteran presence in that room to kind of supercharge this the learning process, really the teaching process of Zimmer as well, to kind of get these guys, to kind of get the point across.
Right.
Number one, what type of defense he wants to bring, what type of scheme he wants to teach these guys, and also, really more hands-on. Not just your coaches, but now you have a couple more players that, like Star just mentioned. The room is definitely short up now, so you have the room of the guys you're looking at. So now these group of 8, 9, 10 guys I remember we have, they can go into training camp in the next few weeks, get in contact with each other, get into group chats, get to get to know each other so that they can start building the camaraderie, start trying to build the chemistry with each other. So now that they know what they're looking at, and like I said, this another presence, another veteran presence in that room. I think is going to be big for these young guys.
Yeah, and I'll say, with Leofau, when I watched Leofau, I didn't see any tackling issues. I'm sure maybe he misses a tackle or two, but the guy is a missile. He's a thumper. He doesn't hesitate. If he does have a tackling issue, that's a very correctable thing. The 3 games that I watched, I didn't see bad tackling, but I have heard other content creators say that, sometimes when he misses big and stuff like that. I haven't seen it, but even so, like when you know the plays, hey, the first step is getting there, right? Mm-hmm. And the thing with Marist Liufau is his IQ. His football IQ is off the charts. In the pre-drafting process, he was explaining to Zimmer everything that the defense was doing in the pre-draft process, not once OTA started, before he was even drafted. So I don't think we got to worry about Marist Liufau. I just don't think that that's one that you need to be concerned about. Right. When it comes to Wanye, you said Wanye Thomas. Malik Hooker is a person that I think is safe. I think the safety that could be on the bubble really is Donovan Wilson.
Yeah.
That's the guy that could be on the bubble because of his coverage, right? Zimmer likes to have his safeties live in coverage. We've seen Wanye do it consistently at a collegiate level and also a little bit of a few snaps that he got. Wilson also used to be a free safety. I just think that Wilson, some people think Wilson has range, some people don't. I can hear both sides, but one thing I do know is that Wilson is not the freak athlete that Wanye is. That's the only thing. So if Wilson's gonna beat Wanye out, he's gonna have to beat Wanye out by diagnosing plays, really. Because he's gonna have to be there. He's gonna have to know what's going on to make up for his speed because he doesn't have the speed. He's not super tall. Wanye's like 6'1", 6'2", runs a 4.3. Donovan Wilson's, I think it's like 6 foot flat, runs like a 4.5. So, his game speed's got to be higher. But I do know Donovan Wilson made some key plays last year in big moments that were in coverage. But there are also times where a lot of times when you watch film, you're like, what coverage is Donovan Wilson in? Like, what is he even doing?
Oh my gosh, stop. We saw the Arizona game last year. We just saw
Arizona Seahawks game. We're like, what are you even doing? Because it's like Donovan Wilson is like he wants to fly downhill. He doesn't really want to be going back.
Right.
I think that's really what it is because a lot of times he had his eyes stuck in the backfield and wide receivers headed to the end zone.
Right. And like JB said, I don't know if he's injury prone. Like I don't know, because I don't think outside of last year, I don't know since he's been here. Has Wilson been hurt here before last year?
Yeah, Wilson did get hurt. Wilson got hurt in 2021, missed a lot of time. I think he got hurt a little bit in 2022. Last year, did he get hurt?
Yeah, it was last year during training camp. He had missed because he missed part of camp and came back late.
Wilson does have injury issues for sure. So that's another thing. He's got injuries, and you are right. Malik Hooker, he had a lot of injuries before coming to Dallas, but since he's come to Dallas, he hadn't had no injuries. Yeah. So we'll have to see how things shake out with Donovan Wilson. Because right now it's looking like Wanye, and I want y'all to pay attention. I don't know if y'all follow Wanye on social media, but him and Malik Hooker are like attached at the hip. And I've just like that just clicked in my brain like the other day, and I'm like, so Malik Hooker obviously is mentoring Wanye.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you don't be seeing Donovan Wilson around.
Oh my God.
Because I think, remember it was J-Ron and Dono.
Yeah.
J-Ron's gone now.
I saw Kirsten Hooker a lot last year. Well, during camp, I saw them mostly together.
Yeah, Kirsten Hooker were tight too, but now like Wanye and Malik Hooker are like very tight. So I do think that Wanye is going to be pushing whoever it is for that second safety spot.
And he already has the eye of the head coach. And we heard McCarthy giving them plenty of praise, talking about OTAs and mini OTAs. Yep. And Wanya has been, all over, so, pretty much his last season, we mentioned, he had the first play, against the Giants. Even in preseason, we saw a lot of spark from this guy. I think
Wanya was so much spark. Wanya made a key play. Yeah. If y'all go back and watch the Miami Dolphins game, when the Dolphins went forward at the goal line at 4th and 3,
correct,
and he locked that wide receiver up and got him off the field, Wanya makes a lot of plays, but so does Donovan Wilson. We can't say Donovan Wilson don't make plays. So it's really, that's the word is what, guys? Competition.
Right.
And put that in competition.
This last year, that's going to be, I don't know if it's a deciding factor, but we're both of them getting contracts last year, like you said. And I don't know if they're going to even maybe find, I'm sure they're not going to be able to trade either one. I don't know if they can find value in their contracts, but like you said, that may be maybe teetering on maybe Wilson's injury history or who just shows better mental prowess on the field.
Right. That's whoever shows better mental prowess. And like I said, Wanya already has the upper hand. Not talking about coaching or anything. I'm just saying, athletically, Wanya has the upper hand. Yeah. So Dono's gonna have to beat him, like I said, or like Mickey said, with mental prowess. Because if we're just going athlete to athlete, you're gonna pick Wanya. Right. And Wanya's younger too, so you're gonna pick.
Yeah, exactly.
You're gonna pick Wanya over Dono. So we'll see. Yeah, he was a downhill player. That is how he became a top 5 safety. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I know. And what's up? I don't know. We said hi to Nisi, but what's up, Nisi? What's up to everybody in the chat? Us and JV is talking to us a lot, but everybody, please talk to us. Let us know your comments and stuff like that. Yes. But I think this is a good segue. We got to continue to monitor the safety position, but I do think this is a good segue so we can talk. Show this interview with Willie Harvey, because he gave some nuggets on Mike Zimmer's defense, the importance of linebackers, what happened to him, why did he get out of the NFL. And ultimately, why he chose the Dallas Cowboys over other people, because he was highly pursued. Yeah. So I will try to share my screen to pull this up. All right. There we go.
Let me get this.
Bam, you got it. All right. Turn the background music off for us, sis.
Okay.
So we can hear. All right. I'm gonna play this for us.
It was just an easy decision.
Give us.
So we'll just start off here.
Oh, they ran a similar defense. I wanted the transition to be easy. I got along with the guys well, the coaches. I had some camaraderie with the special teams coach. And it was just an easy decision.
Give us kind of a layman's education on this defense. What type of scheme and system are we looking at here with Coach Zimmer?
Basically, it's like a linebacker-driven defense. Keeping the linebackers free, letting them be athletes and make plays. The Eric Kendricks of the world. I mean, they got a lot of good guys, and they let them thrive, and that's something I want to be a part of.
So just pausing there. So again, chose us because he said the defense was similar to what they ran. I think he comes from the St. Louis Battlehawks, I think. Yeah, so he's saying they ran a similar defense. So it was just a no-brainer, and he connected with our guys, which is a good thing, right? Because team camaraderie. Right. I know it's been a lot of talk about all these coaches on one-year deals and, so much insecurity and how are people going to buy in and stuff like that. So whenever you have these players that's oh, yeah, I chose Dallas, it was a no-brainer. It does make me feel good because I'm everybody doesn't hate us. There is still some, still some appeal. People still do think that, Dallas is a good place to play. And I think Willie also wants to come here because he knows that they probably told him oh, no, this is a competition. So
Yeah,
you definitely have a chance to make this roster and make an impact.
yeah,
And then
and I
also,
only,
go ahead.
I only got you, but to your point, sis, like Kendrick said the same thing when he came in about having people having a different perspective of the Cowboys. And actually, when he came in here, really his number one thing when asked by the media, like, what was the different, what did you think that was different when you actually got here? He said, hey, man, this locker room is solid. The organization, yeah, everything is, cameras and media and this, that, and the third. But like you mentioned on our show weeks ago, Star, it's about doing the job, putting all that aside and getting in the right mindset. But he's like, that was the first thing he said about the locker room being solid. Like, these guys are solid. And even he complimented the players, saying that they're smart. This team has the players to be able to get the scheme down. They don't know it yet. Like, he was constantly praising, the locker room, the players in
The
the locker
room. The locker room. And exactly.
Your point, like that. And another free agent coming here, or a quote unquote free agent, another guy, a stranger essentially, coming into the organization, giving good compliments, like you mentioned. Since not everyone hates us, not everyone thinks the Cowboys is, oh, we don't like them, they don't know how to play.
Right.
Like that, and like you mentioned, the defense is being similar to what they ran when he was in UFL. Highlighting the linebackers, highlighting the guys who do the tough work. It's not just about the defensive line. It's not just about guys in coverage. It's about, well, not saying it's about the guys in the middle, not just about the linebackers, but like you mentioned, they're an important part of the game too. Like, these guys do the tough work. Actually, when I heard this part of the interview, sister, it reminded me of not saying they're the same as the running back position, but we talked about it, how the running back is disrespected, how they don't get the the recognition they get for
pause right there, because that's the very next question they go into. But yeah, let's keep listening, because that's a perfect segue, because they're gonna go right into that.
Linebackers.
Oh, also, before, we do have the link in the description for this video. This is on 105.3 The Fans YouTube. This is Shan and RJ. So we're not going to watch the whole video. We're obviously just going to show y'all different clips throughout there. So please go out and click the link below and watch the whole entire interview, because he's a very interesting guy. But I did think that we should show these nuggets here live on air. So the link is in the description. Don't want any copyright issues.
Yeah, show them some love, y'all. Show them some love.
Yeah.
There's one of these positions that Choppy and others tried to fade out. The running backs of defense, and now with the Fred Warners of the world, you still got Bobby Wagner hanging around. We've had issues stopping the run around here for a while. It feels like the emphasis on linebacker is back in Dallas. What do you think of the whole linebackers don't matter as much discussion? Why is that crazy?
It's crazy until you take them out of the game, and bad things start to happen. We're very grimy, hard.
Don't we know about that?
We really don't get the respect we deserve. We play all special teams.
A lot of bad things happen.
We command a whole entire defense, and I think that's important. When you take us out of the picture, it can get a little cloudy. So
would you say the defense this year is like going to be more of a pressure D or a coverage type?
Just from me being in a similar system, I would think it would be more a pressure defense. But I'm pretty sure it'll be a little bit of both.
Who are your line?
Now, I think that's pretty much the bulk of what I wanted to show y'all. I do think there is a clip after. Let me see if I can fast forward where he does explain why he was out of the UFL. Y'all give me a second.
You had started out, you were undrafted out of Iowa State. You ended up in Cleveland, special teams contributor there, somebody that was in the linebacker rotation, spent a couple years there. When things ended in Cleveland and you ended up with St. Louis in the UFL this past year and in the USFL previously, was there a moment where you thought, like, I don't know that I'm going to get back to that point? Was there any discouragement at any time where you said, like, what is my future in this league again? Did you think you were going to get this opportunity again?
I knew, I'm honest with myself. I knew I probably didn't work as hard as I should have and put in the work. So, getting a second chance in the spring league, I was like, hey, I got another chance to, perfect my craft and be a better linebacker, get smarter, get faster, get stronger. And that's kind of what I did, my first year. And I felt like it wasn't enough. So I came back again and did it again. And, I got the opportunity. So,
Or your hot.
So, and that's it. Okay, so you can hit us back with the background music.
Okay.
But
Okay, gotcha.
I think, when you talk about the important, and it's true because I don't know how many people, and what's up, Tyrone Church? Glad to see you. Yeah, we talked about that running back, love it, and Law Nation did a breakdown of him. And I honestly, from the clips that I saw, I did like the way he was running, but I don't want to get too far off topic. But when it comes to the importance of linebackers, it's crazy how we're literally coming from a system where linebackers were pretty much obsolete. We're running big nickel, we're 3 safeties on the field at all time. We now have a defense that's going to feature the linebackers. So I think that that's something that we need to remember. And also, I'm going to say this. Everybody is saying that we're going to run a 4-3 defense, but I'm like, are we really? Because 4-3 in a 4-3, in a traditional 4-3 defense, the people that are featured are the defensive ends. But Zimmer's defense is supposed to be focusing on the linebackers, and that's traditionally a 3-4 defense where the linebackers are the featured players. So I don't know. I don't know what you think about that, since I feel like, are we really running a 4-3? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? And then when you look at hold on, before I go there, importance of linebackers. Like, obviously we saw in the playoffs how important good linebacker play was and how detrimental it is if you don't have good linebackers, because it's like the best teams of the NFL, they went back to that ground and pound football. They went back to, we don't want to do the tricks and we don't want to get cute. As some people say, we don't get cute. We're going to line up and play sound fundamental football. And so having a player like Willie Harvey Jr., who obviously, he was honest. He said, I wasn't putting in the work like I needed to, but that's why I got stronger, got faster, got smarter. And then he said an extra year in the UFL, because he's like, I could have, try to try out for some teams, get back in the NFL, but he gave himself 2 years to really perfect his craft. So I think that this is a guy that's definitely determined, and it shows because, again, he was the best linebacker linebacker in the UFL. 8 or 9 tackles for loss. So this is a guy that shows determination, and that's all you really want. You know what I'm saying? Are you determined? Are you going to try hard? Are you going to max out? And obviously he's been around for a while, so he's not a young kid. So it's basically like those young and dumb days are put behind him. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's a key. But go ahead.
Yeah, no, I feel you. That's a great point. I definitely feel you. Like you said, like it's really about this guy just getting another opportunity, and not just him. Other players as well. Let's talk about some of the bad, like you mentioned, these bad things happen when you don't have linebackers. And like you said, since we essentially had none, and we did. You mentioned that they weren't on the right position on the field. So we talk about some of these bad things, like you mentioned. Mad rush yards. The running back east on the opposite team. Period. Averaging 45 yards a touch.
Yeah.
We can't have that. Tony Pollard averaged 4 yards a touch last year, and that was on the low end. So you can imagine, us going against Green Bay, us going against Buffalo, y'all remember that? 200 plus rushing yards. And say another
Buffalo's who put that blueprint out, and that's how the Buffalo, that same scheme is the exact same scheme that not the Miami Dolphins, but Green Bay ran against us.
Right.
And y'all see we got destroyed. Same one that the Cardinals did it as, and y'all see we got destroyed.
Right. Exactly. and other things that can happen as well, like your defense gets worn out because they're on the field constantly. The offense is able to convert. They probably don't even get the third down. If your running back is averaging 4 to 5 yards per touch, you can easily convert first and second down. Your defense is seeing the field for at least like you talking about 10 play drives on our side. The other side is getting those 10 play drives. So our defense, like McCarthy's main point was giving the defense rest. So it's about don't know, like the Cowboys not focusing on this area, not focusing on the position of DT, but it's been our Achilles heel for the past 4, 5, 6. We can go back as many years, y'all, as it's been a problem. So for these guys to not be just in this position, even still to this day, still constantly going after defensive ends, and just seeing. I mean, we hear in practice with Marshawn Nealon playing 3-tech. You know, and not trying to get too far into the show, but we even seeing even hearing, listening to Shariff Floyd, listening to Fehoko talk about him playing 3-tech. So it's just them constantly still trying out defensive ends, trying out edges, and first not to be such an in defensive tackle, sis, it's kind of just, it's kind of deflating a little bit.
Yeah, it is, and I think that's a good segue we can jump into, because we have been working out a lot of defensive ends, and everybody's like, why are we working out all these defensive ends? Like, why aren't we working out defensive tackle? Because to us, the hole is a defensive tackle. And you know what I think that they're doing is, we already know that Chauncey has been playing defensive tackle. He can play outside, he can play inside, right?
Yeah. Then
you have someone else that I think that we're forgetting about, which is Junior Fehoko. Sis, can you bring up that graphic I sent you of Junior Fehoko?
Yeah, I got you.
So Junior Fehoko also is a guy that when we drafted him, he was supposed to play, or when we drafted him, the idea was him to be an inside player. So although to us, we're like, hey, we don't have enough defensive tackles. We got defensive tackles where we really because they're gonna put this is what I think, or this is what we think is gonna happen. Shout out to Junior Fehoko. We're forgetting about this dude.
Right.
And many of the content curators have broken him down, so y'all can go watch. But this guy has a motor that is out of this world. And y'all remember he was redshirted, so he didn't play a snap last year. I don't think.
Period.
I don't think he played a snap. So this is Mountain West.
IR late in the season. I think he ended up just being
right.
a healthy.
We ended up just healthy scratching. We pretty much did that to the bulk of the 2023 draft class. We pretty much redshirted all of them. But so you got Volami Fehoko. Well, sorry, he wants to be called Junior. So Junior Fehoko, Defensive Player of the Year, 3-time first team. Now, granted, this is the Mountain West Conference, but that don't matter because he was the best where he was at. You understand what I'm saying? So 3-time first team all Mountain West Conference. And then the guy had 19 tackles for loss.
That's in 1 year. That's crazy.
That's crazy. Insane. 19 tackles for loss. Right. Again, 19 tackles for loss is crazy. I don't care what conference you play at. 19 tackles for loss is crazy.
Facts. Which means
that's almost 20 tackles for loss and 9 sacks.
Right. Which means he's getting to the backfield, y'all. He is getting to that quarterback. Like Cowboys Nation, make sure you guys, like Sister said, it's not a lot of film on him as far as in Cowboys uniform, but go back and just watch a little bit of the preseason games last season, the Seahawks, the Jags game. We saw him even being changed going back.
I forgot about he did play in preseason. I need to go back and look at the preseason film.
Yes, let's do that. I think I did it sometime last week or something. Go back and watch that, especially that Seattle game. We saw early in the game, and actually a little bit later towards the end of the game as well, where he was actually going back and forth between 3-tech and edge on the left edge, the left side. So, and he was granted he wasn't getting big plays, but he was either getting to the quarterback, or I think he even had one clip tackle where he had a shoestring tackle that was able to stop the running back and actually have an impact on the play. So it just kind of blows my mind. They haven't gotten more use out of this guy. I know depth was the issue last year. I don't want to say issue because it was just stacked. The room was just stacked, and this guy.
The room was stacked. Yeah.
He ended up getting buried on the roster, and like we just said, a healthy scratch, but he had another chance to come back. Some guys and definitely at his position left. We have a Fowler who just left. We have Armstrong who just left. So him, and Yeah, we do have Sam Williams coming along in rotation. We do still have Parsons, D-Law, but and Nealon, of course. But it's that rotation. Just be able to get these guys to get in there, get the feeling, get their hand in the dirt. Like he already has, some stat, like I mentioned in preseason, but to get that real game feel, like just be able to get this guy on the field, get Nealon on the field, like it's just like you said, it's crazy they haven't put this guy on the field any more than they have.
Yep. He said Dallas Cowboys try to make edge rushers 3-tech players trash. Well, I don't think it is trash, Key, because Chauncey can play. We saw it with our own eyes. Chauncey can play. Both of these, Chauncey and Junior Fehoko, can play outside and inside. They're really, you know what Chauncey and Junior Fehoko are? They're 3-4 defensive ends. 3-4 defensive ends play where? They don't play on the edge of the defense. They play inside. It's the nose tackle, then it's your 2 defensive ends, then you have a linebacker, and then 2 linebackers in the middle. That's 3-4. That's why I think, like, are we really gonna run a 4-3?
Right.
Because it's not making sense.
The one that Fehoko was going back and was actually trading position with in the Seattle game. They're actually interchanging positions. Right.
Because as a big thing, it's a Mike McCarthy thing, clearly, where versatility. They drafted these players because they can play inside and outside. Absolutely. That's why they drafted Chauncey Golston. That's why they drafted Junior Fehoko. They can play inside and they can play outside. They said that the day that we drafted them. So they always had that idea for them. I think the thing that we're missing, so this is why they're obviously adding in these edge rushers, because you got Micah Parsons, you got D-Law, but after that, like who? Oh, and you got Marshawn Nealon, but after that, who do you have? And I think Zim is obviously going to play Micah Parsons all over the place. So he's not going to be locked in defensive end. Micah will likely be standing up. He'll be rushing as a linebacker, right? So they're trying to figure out who are the guys that they can put in that interior that are going to be able to hold up, shed blocks, get to the linebacker, get to the quarterback, and get tackles for loss. I feel like Junior Fehoko, he was a 4th-round pick. I do think that he has talent. Now, we got to see it on the field. We've seen flashes of Chauncey, but Chauncey never got the consistency. But now, what we keep saying, since that wall is torn down, now we'll actually get to see these guys, and these guys are probably going to get more snaps, and they probably are going to really thrive in Zimmer's defense. The only thing that we're really missing is a nose tackle. That's what we are missing.
Period.
Because Mozzie obviously is rehabbing. Then you have Chauncey's a D, right. So you got Mozzie who's rehabbing. You got Osa who's injured. He's rehabbing. You got Carl Davis, but we know he's just a journeyman. So you can't have that be your starting defensive tackle. And then you got Justin Rogers and Denzel Jackson. But those are rookies. So what we want, we need to be specific. We keep saying DT. We got DTs. What we need is a nose tackle. So I think we need to start being specific, not just saying, do we need DT? We got 3 techs. But what we need is a veteran nose tackle that can come in and help stabilize our line, because we don't have that right now. But here's a clip of this is Shariff Floyd. Of course, he's an op now. He went over to the Washington Commandos or whatever. But this is him talking about Junior Fehoko, and there's some clips of him, some clips of Junior Fehoko film at the bottom. This is from DMV. Y'all can see that. Shout out to DMV.
Yeah,
love DMV and his content. This is just a little short clip of Shariff Floyd talking about Junior Fehoko. Sis, can you enlarge that?
Yeah, I got you. And also, his link is also in the description as well. So make sure you guys, you don't hear it well.
Right, it's in the description. Everything that we're showing, referencing is in the description.
Facts. All right, here we go, guys.
Chasing the ball.
Actually, 1 second. Let me get this music muted. All right, there we go.
Chasing the ball. Get off, so it equates chasing the ball, and he got good get off, so it equates to a good pass rush and an array of moves that come with it. I think this guy can easily get into our rotation this year, and then within the next year or so, I see him moving inside to be a true 3 technique. He got the quickness and the get off and the power to do so. So probably get a little bit more weight on him and let him play inside and be disruptive for chasing the.
All right, yeah, guys, like you just heard, and really the key. Actually, I was going to mention that about ghosting, but like he just mentioned, getting that weight on him, and that, like you mentioned,
that weight.
And now they're having
it go because remember, Junior, he's now going into year 2.
Exactly. I was just gonna say, them both having a full off season. Ghosting to be able to get in that weight room. Fehoko, like you mentioned, he was redshirted, so the whole time he's been in the weight room, I'm sure. But also, and now with a new coach coming in, the scheme, scheme being related to these guys, and now they can focus on what they actually need to focus on. So having both of these guys, I mean, I don't know, like you mentioned, Star. I don't know if they're gonna bring anybody else in. They still have roster spots open. I think 4 to 5 spots, and like you mentioned, and shout out the boss Cowboy, like he mentioned with Stephen Jones, saying that they want to pick up some big bodies. Like you said, they promised us. Like look, man, like everyone's been talking about shout out to all the content creators, Jay Tuck, Skywalker, still everyone just putting the question out there. What's going on, Cowboys? Why are we not focusing on the one position that's been giving us hell?
Issues.
The last 4 or 5.
It's that nose tackle. And what I think is shout out to Brian Broaddus too, because I think they addressed this yesterday on the Final Word, and he was like, "There's no nose tackles out there right now that you would want. You pretty much what we're doing is what Brian Broaddus said, Dallas Cowboys insider. He said." He was told by the scouts and all of that. He said, we need to chill out. They said, by camp, we're going to be fine. Like, don't worry about it. So that means either we're working on a trade. We know that there's going to be some releases soon. And so we're just waiting for the right guy to pop up on our radar. That's pretty much what we're doing. So we're going to hold them to it. Yes. Right? We're going to hold them to it. Because they said for camp, they said by camp, everything's going to be fine. So we're going to hold them to it.
Right.
And hopefully, go ahead.
I would hope that would mean that it's a guy who has either games underneath his belt or some kind of experience. Because I think you mentioned this a couple weeks ago, Star, like you don't bring in a young guy who has no experience strictly for camp. I say you only bring in guys who have experience for camp, but I'm just, like you mentioned, like you to your point, Star, like you bring in those big names too because they don't want to go through camp. They don't want to go through the whole, having to, practice for, for a whole month when they had to, I guess as far as bringing somebody in who would need to get used to our scheme, of course, things like that. But, a guy who's used to being in training camp, a veteran who's been through that, who doesn't want to go through a whole entire training camp, you would bring those guys in maybe midway through camp or maybe close to the season. But if you're bringing in somebody who's new, who's really great to the game, you're not bringing them in right at camp. So hopefully that, kind of, puts to the point that hopefully they're bringing in a guy who has experience, maybe someone like a Hankins, someone who has, like I said, some skins on the wall.
I think they're going to try to get a vet. They're either going to try to get the veteran that they're likely going to get is somebody that's been in a deep room. That's what I think that who they're likely going to get, or they're going to trade for a proven vet. You know what I'm saying? Like they did a Hankins, but probably somebody that's better. You know what I'm saying? So we got to continue to monitor and see how they're going to handle this thing. But obviously they know that they're going to have some more nose tackles for camp. Because again, Mozzie's still not practicing. Now, Brian Broaddus said he has put on weight, so that's good. But he's still rehabbing because he had shoulder surgery. So you're going to have to bring in some other one or two more nose tackles we're going to need them to bring in. But we do know that the Dallas Cowboys, ultimately, they do have until the trade deadline to make a move. So we do have to remember that as well.
Yeah, and then you have after training camp when they start doing the roster cuts and things like that. Like you, and that's a great point you just brought up, Star, about we have crazy running back depth, right? We have crazy defensive back depth, right? So like you said, maybe there's another team out there that has, defensive tackle depth. Like we know
exactly, so we can make a trade, right? Because we're deep at safety. We're kind of deep at wide receiver. We're kind of deep at offensive line. So there are some guys that we can ship off and get a veteran defensive tackle. Yeah. For sure. So I wouldn't be concerned. What I would say, be in the monitoring stage, right? Yeah. Continue to monitor. We do need to continue to talk about it because our voice, shout out to Boss Cowboy, our voices do matter. And we got to let the front office know that, hey, we appreciate all these, signing a defensive end and a linebacker and cornerback. That's great. But we need you to go ahead and address that nose tackle position, right? So that we can make sure that we're not going into the season getting gashed up the middle. I will say, with our 3 techs like Valami Fehoko and Chauncey Golson, these are guys that we know can play the run. They're big enough to get push, get movement inside. Obviously, that's why we said, okay, let's put you into this spot. So, 3 techs obviously can stop the run. Edges can stop the run. We have the linebackers, but you got to keep the linebackers clean, right? Because I think Willie Harvey Jr., he was like, yeah, we got to be clean to make plays. So,
yeah, he's not afraid to step up to the line. That's one thing I did notice from this film. Like he will.
None of our linebackers are. I'm telling y'all, go watch film of every single one of the linebackers that we have on this roster. Right. You're not going to see one hesitant Harry, but Damone Clark. That's the only one. That's the only one. And again, we know he said he was thinking about his injury.
Exactly.
And
he knew what he was doing. I mean, he was being real.
He didn't know what he was doing. He had no leadership. He was thinking about his injury. He didn't know what he was doing. But now since you got Eric Kendrick, who can basically tell you, we're going right, we're going left, I feel like now he can just...
If you yourself don't know what you're doing and your partner in crime is Marquise Bell, who's a safety,
who also don't know what he's doing. Right. Everybody was just lost.
Right. And it's okay. Like, and that's what I mentioned earlier, the vulnerability of these players. I like they're coming out and saying like, "Hey, my injury had this impact," or "Hey, we didn't have this leadership." We even like you mentioned in your video, Star. Like the mom said, we didn't do this last year. We didn't go out to eat. We
didn't go out to eat. Right, exactly.
I'm just like, what? Like, I don't want to say that's basic, and not saying teams have to do that. Not saying guys have to do that, but we talked about the importance of off-field chemistry, building that on-field chemistry. So if you have a guy who feels like you're his friend, like, and this another real quick point. Make sure you guys check out the story. I know we talked about Michael Welcome before, but he put out a really good article about how Overshown, David Durden, and JSJ, John Stevens Jr., how they're actually all real close now, just because of the rehab they've been through over this past year, just because they all happen to go through at the same injury at the same time. And of course, we know a month later, Diggs towards ACL as well. But that's the thing we're talking about, guys. Like, they didn't expect these injuries to happen, but they got close with their teammates because the injury happened. So that kind of chemistry can actually help them grow on the field. You know what I'm saying? And just
right, it is going to help them grow on the field. A lot of camaraderie between players is built off the field. You know what I'm saying? Built on going to trips together, spending time, like you said, rehab, working out together and stuff like that. That's where a lot of the camaraderie and the chemistry comes from. So, and I didn't read that article by Michael Gelkin, but shout out Michael Gelkin. And, I want to say this for the Dallas Cowboys beat writers and stuff like that. Like, everything that I say is because I want to win 6, and I don't like when I feel like somebody is doing something that could be detrimental to our team. Right. But I will say this, like, everybody makes mistakes, but you have guys like Shan and RJ. Did I like when they was going back and forth online about Mike Basic and shout outs, because we didn't even talk about it, but Dak Prescott is free from all the lawsuits. He is declared innocent, and the judge is dismissing the case.
Exactly.
So it's like we didn't like when the fan did that, But just because somebody does something that you don't like and we thought that it was disrespectful, doesn't mean that everything from the fan is bad, because obviously we wouldn't even have gotten to know anything about Willie Harvey Jr. if it wasn't for the fan, if it wasn't for Shan and RJ. You know what I'm saying? Michael Gelkin has asked some pivotal questions and has helped us as content creators figure out a lot of information about this team. So even though they write articles sometimes and I don't agree, go ahead.
He asked a lot of very important questions about Kellen Moore, and no one's asking about Kellen Moore.
Very important questions. The questions about the option rounds. That was Michael Gelkin. So I do want to say, like, I'm not going to be taking, I'm saying this on live, I'm not going to be taking direct shots at people anymore. Now, I'm going to talk about what's in the articles. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you, but I'm not going to take direct shots at these gentlemen, because I know that they're doing the best that they can, and they have to, how do I say this? Like, these guys work for DallasCowboys.com and the fan. So, yes, all of them are not water carriers, but I do think that sometimes they may feel pressure to put things out or say things for the betterment of Jerry and Steven, and to get a little pat on the back so that maybe they'll get more clearance. Maybe they'll get, more secrets that they can reveal to the fans. So we do have to remember that when talking about these beat reporters and stuff like that and old media, because, at the end of the day, I don't know these people personally, and I don't want to be taking shots at them personally. So for everybody that I took a personal shot at, I will say that I am sorry for that. I am sorry, and I'm not going to do that anymore. No more personal attacks. Again, I'm not going to talk about what's in the articles.
Right.
If I don't agree with it, but no more personal attacks.
They have that platform, and they have that responsibility, and we look to them as fans. Star, it's understandable. Like, we look to them as fans. You know what I'm saying, like you said, when we don't get much from Jared, we don't get much from Steven, we don't know what's going on. We don't hear nothing. They talking codes and things like that. We have to rely on the media to get those questions or to get those answers.
Right, because we can't, because we're not in there. We don't get to go there. We don't get to ask the questions. So we do have to rely on old media who does have the access to come in, and shout out to those and who work for .com, who talk to us. The Brian Bryces, Aisha Morrison, Nick Harris, Patrick No-C Walker. These are all guys, Clarence Hill, that do talk to the content creators and come to us and help us give insight on the team so that we can better cover the team. So, we wouldn't be able to do what we do if it wasn't for old media. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to old media. I just wanted to say that, before we get off of here, because, these guys, they still do good work. You know what I'm saying? They still put out good work. They may put out some work that you don't agree with. They may put out some work that you like. This is looking like a little bit water carry-ish, but that don't mean that you should throw them all away and say, I'm not gonna listen to them because like they have done no good, because that that's not right. So anyway, I think we wrapped it up. I think we pretty much covered all of our topics. Pretty much. I don't think there was any. Was there anything else?
And get some, because we not only talk about the DTs, but we also gave y'all some safety work too. Let them know, sis. I mean, we kind of
exactly. We talked about DT. We talked about the safeties. We talked about the new signings. We gave y'all insight to the new linebacker that we got. We gave y'all insight to the type of defense. If we run a 3-4 defense, y'all heard it here first. Make sure y'all heard it on StarChasers Girls Talk Ball first, because ain't nobody talking about that. Ain't nobody talking about. Everybody saying, "Oh yeah, we gonna run a 4-3. That's Zimmer's defense. We gonna run." But if you listen, the linebackers are supposed to be the featured players. Right. So it could be a hybrid defense. I don't know, but all I'm saying is, from the moves that we're making, from the positions that the players are currently on the roster playing, hearing from the players about what kind of defense, hearing from Willie Harvey Jr., which obviously they sold him on coming to the Cowboys because they said we're going to feature the linebackers. That is just sounding very 3-4-ish. It's sounding very 3-4-ish. So that's all I'm saying. And I think that we're looking at other DEs that also could give a clue that Micah Parsons will be playing more off ball. We'll be moving him around. Right. He won't be locked in at edge. Oh, this is good too to talk about this. The training camp schedule.
Yeah, I would just bring it up, since we're closing out. Like, I don't know if you guys seen, because actually I haven't seen it yet. I just happened to see it when I was looking up the signings or the workouts earlier. We bring them on the screen. I just happened to see it on Nick Harris's page. Like Star said, shout out to Nick Harris. One of the, just in my opinion, and I'm sure other people's opinion, one of the best, beat writers that we have right now, the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah,
Dallas Cowboys,
for sure.
Because he puts out great articles, great information. Draft, very big around the draft time. I'm saying, even just now, like Star said, just earlier, he put out a video on Willie Harvey Jr. that a new signing. I think Garyon Conley as well. I think was in that clip too, sis. I think.
Yep. Nick Harris, he just put out a video where he's talking about Willie Harvey Jr. and Garyon Conley, and he's actually breaking down film of them. So y'all go check that out on Dallas Cowboys YouTube.
Yeah, and this is just the training camp schedule, guys. I just figured I'd put it up for you guys. If you guys are planning to go out there, making a trip out there, I'm actually, just let you know, Star. I'm actually going out there the 31st through the 7th. So hopefully.
Okay, so you going out there? Okay. So hopefully we can do some shows. Do a show or two.
You already know.
While you out there.
In constant contact with you, let you know what's going on. Of course, all the other content creators out there. Hopefully,
we need you to come to Dallas. That's what we need you to do. Skip that training camp and come to the one in Dallas.
It's so late in August. I got something late.
I know. It is so late.
I don't know why they did. Like, if it was the week before, I would have been able to swing it. But that very last week in August,
it's so late.
It's so close to the season. So that's
okay. We're gonna get together eventually. We're gonna give y'all the StarChasers Girls Talk About live together. We're gonna work it out. We're gonna figure it out.
Hey, and we still got the season, y'all. Hey, man, some Cowboys games coming up in Dallas. No, I'm gonna keep an eye out. You know what I'm saying?
We do got the season. That's right.
Yeah, I'm stashing some away, y'all. So we gonna make something happen, y'all. We gonna make it happen for y'all. But
for sure.
Before we get out of here, make sure you guys take a quick look at that schedule. Like I said, make sure you guys plan. Before we get out of here, guys, hit the like button, please. Hit the share button. Hit subscribe. Hit the Cash App as well if you guys haven't.
Hit that Cash App. Thank you. $1, a penny. Whatever you can give helps.
Yes. And if you guys can't do that, like you said, hit the subscribe button, y'all. There's a simple click of the button. Will help us.
It's free. Subscribing is free. Sharing the content is free. Commenting is free. Turning on the notification bell is free. So please do that. Help us grow our content. We're doing the best we can to put out good content for y'all, and hopefully, maybe we can get some guests on here soon.
Yes.
We want to really get some guests on here soon. Maybe we can bring Aisha back. I want to. Oh well, let me not spoil it, but there's some people that I'm going to reach out to see if they will come and join us during before camp to just talk about other positions in depth that that the Cowboys fans obviously want to hear, because I know they talking about contracts and ish all day long, but we would like to talk about football. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully we get somebody to come on and help us talk about football.
We're gonna do that for you guys. Make sure you guys tap in, keep the notifications on. Make sure you guys catch us every Wednesday evening. We'll let you guys know if we don't go on, but to further notice, every Wednesday evening, 8:30, 7:30 Central. Thank you guys so much for your time. We really appreciate you guys joining us. And we'll catch you next time. See y'all.
Peace.